Hola from Portugal. Hello from Cascais, the gorgeous Portuguese port, which has become really sailing central at the moment here with this TP52 regatta, the Audi Medcup for 2010. We've already had days of amazing action, and we can see now why it is that Cascais has an amazing reputation here as a sailing venue. With me this evening for this highlight show, we've got Mike Sanderson, team director of Team Origin. Deckhand it says, but he's actually been working the runners, working like hell as well. And you must be really pleased with the way it's going at the moment. We'll talk later about the drama of the day, but overall, pretty good start for you.
Yeah, absolutely, Martin. You know, we wanted to come to this event. You know, we knew we were very short on time. You know, from when the rule was announced late last year to when we had to build the boat, the schedule was all very tight. So we always knew for this event we were going to be slightly on the back foot. So to be going how we are so far, we're very pleased and relieved.
Okay, well, you're having a really great time. Somebody not having such a great time has been poor Terry Hutchinson, skipper of Quantum, and he wasn't racing today. He couldn't race yesterday. The boom dropped on his head, which is not a very good thing to happen. He's been concussed, but he was well enough to talk to us earlier today.
We were hoisting the main, and I got whacked in the head by the boom. Probably no more complicated than that. So, but yeah, I mean, so I went to the hospital yesterday, had a CAT scan, and there's no bleeding or cracked skull, but the doctor said I have a concussion, so he thought it was prudent that I not sail today. Well, it was a little more than seeing stars. I basically sat down straight away because I was getting ready to throw up, and spent the next half hour on the boat getting ready to throw up, and I knew about 45 minutes before the start of the race that, you know, I just wasn't any good, so they took me off the boat. Well, Ado's a great sailor, you know. I mean, in the last, I think we're so fortunate to have him on the boat this year. You know, we've had really good tactician afterguard relationships in the past, but having lost more regattas to Ado than I've won against him, it's a great addition to our team, and Kevin as well. You know, I mean, they're both superb sailors in their own right, and you know, it's a big ask for Ado to step in, and you know, they did great work in the first race yesterday. They led basically almost wire to wire, and you know, I think from there they battled a little bit, but you know, it is, you know, it's great to see him take it on and step up. I mean, it's certainly not an easy thing to come into.
Okay, Terry Hutchinson there. We wish him well, and you'll have every sympathy for him. It's very, very easy to get whacked. They're pretty dangerous things, boats, really.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was a nasty injury to Terry, and it's funny when you hear come over the radio that someone's been injured. You know, immediately you're very concerned for them because you know, even though these boats are only 52 feet long, still the loads are pretty high, and the booms are pretty hard, and it's an easy thing. We've all done it. And yeah, it's quite a lot of concern goes out as soon as you hear someone's injured.
Okay, well, you're talking about the boats being very, very, you know, tough, very potentially dangerous. They're absolutely powered up. The person responsible for making them that way, to some extent, on the Team Origin boat is, of course, Juan Kumjan, 1K, one of the most famous designers, and certainly one that Mike knows particularly well. So let's have a chat with him.
Leading up to the second day of 5 races is an excellent feeling. I think it's completely down to crew. I mean, the crew is extraordinary. They sail really well. They really sail very well. I cannot say that more. The boat hopefully is helping them in some conditions. I know, as a matter of fact, that it's not helping them in others, which hopefully we're going to sort out for the next event. But no, the crew is doing a fantastic job. Well, having a new boat, or being the only new boat in the year in the fleet this year, certainly presents some advantages in some areas, because you always, you know, the history proves that the newer boats always end up ahead. However, this year is a little bit of a trade-off. It's a little bit of a different year because, in essence, we're going through a rule change, which means that we are the only boat that is or has to satisfy the new rules, which makes the boat heavier in terms of the construction, and we're not allowed to use some specific fibers on the mast and things like that. So even though in general being the new boat helps, I think this year, and because of the circumstances of the class changing rules, I'm not going to say it doesn't help, but it certainly helps less than normally. Well, from a performance point of view, it's been very positive. I think that we without affecting the cost whatsoever, I think we can go another notch, which in essence is what the 2011 rule is. So I think that the next year's rule is ticking those boxes, and I think the boats are going to be a lot more exciting next year what they are now. So considering that they are very exciting today, it's going to be very, very good.
We know how the boat goes, and a logical choice of you, not the first boat that 1K's built for you. So just in essence, why choose him before we look at race 5 and what the boat does?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it would have been easy for us to have bought a second-hand boat, especially since we made the decision to do the Audi Medcup so late last year. But, you know, we need to remember that the reason Team Origin's here is to grow as a team to have a serious shot of winning the next America's Cup. And so we wanted to really use as many aspects of our America's Cup team as we could in this project. So the opportunity to work with the sailors and the design team obviously was huge. The opportunity for the boat builders to work with the boat building facility was huge. So it's more the interaction amongst the whole team that we really wanted to take full advantage of this project.
Now, they weren't expecting to get it right immediately out of the box, but they certainly have done. Let's have a look at race 5 and see the way that 1K's boat has been performing. This is race 6 of the Audi Medcup regatta, and it looks like they are underway. Now we're thinking that they seem to be clear. We're looking, we can see Audi A1 is doing a port tack start right behind everybody, trying to position themselves comfortably in the fleet. Now this might be giving palpitations to Stefan Candler sitting here alongside me, but what we saw yesterday was that some boats who went out that way, including your guys, it paid dividends for them. But clearly at the moment that pin end looked to be favoured. Early out, sharp off the line, Emirates Team New Zealand seemed to be in clear air. They hit the pin at speed. Audi A1 and Luna Rossa heading out towards the right-hand side, heading into the mark according to Virtual. There's absolutely nothing between these two. They're currently lying first and second in this Audi Medcup series here in Qashqai. Ben Ainsley looking like he hasn't got any particular concerns, relaxed at the helm. He's just looking underneath the jib, see where he's going, how far away that buoy is. And
behind them will be interesting because Christabella is now coming from the left.
Yeah.
Will they manage to get into it? Because there is a real wall in front of them.
Okay, well,
Look at that.
The lead boats are on the gate, and yeah, it is indeed. They just managed to sneak through there ahead of Christabella, Bigamist and Matador exchanging tacks. So now Bigamist's coming in and Christabella's tacked. Big group there. As we're actually looking though at Team Origin, they're across the gate. The kite is getting set now. A bit of a battle on the foredeck. That's not so good. If he can't free the kite out of it, I think he's getting there now. Struggling to get that kite out of the bag. That could delay them slightly as they get ready for the hoist. Synergy coming around in third place. They're sailing particularly well. Again, they're reflecting their position on the leaderboard at the moment. Emirates Team New Zealand thundering around there. Dean Barker heaves that tiller extension up towards them and away, and they're off.
It's really amazing to see how close the boats are and how quickly you can go from first to second or fifth. Look at this.
Yeah. Quantum well down the fleet there. And your guys, Audi A1, they're sitting really nicely. Sixth going around there behind Brebon. And now, oh well, that's an interesting development. Team Origin have jibed away straight away. Emirates Team New Zealand have decided that they do still like what was the left-hand side of the course and is now the right-hand side looking down. And Origin have gone on a bit of a flyer. The only boats so far to have gone out hunting out to the right-hand side, the left-hand side of the course looking down. So they've decided that there is something that they want down there. I wonder what it is that they've seen. Okay, Andy, I'm here with Stefan Candler, and we were discussing the flyer that they took, that Origin took when they were the first and only boat to head straight over there. Could you see what they were looking at?
Not especially, Martin, to be honest, but at the moment it's just, actually, Team New Zealand have come back a little bit, just to say they managed to get further inshore, and they're just a little bit closer, but Team Origin are very much controlling the game at the moment.
Okay, thanks very much for that, Andy. We'll be coming back to you shortly. Now, Stefan, this is getting pretty interesting up near the top mark.
Yeah, we see that Emirates Team New Zealand managed to get very close to Team Origin again, going on the right. So the game is open again. And I think we will see other changes very soon when the boats are tacking, because this was a long port beat, and now they are going back on the right. So now we'll see really lead changes again.
Well, it's interesting. It's very, very interesting. It's
yeah, because
it could hardly be tighter. You on?
Yeah, it's true that you see that. That's why now we are on the second part of the beat, which now all the efforts, all the choices that you have made, everyone stayed a long term. Seeing Emirates Team New Zealand, it seemed that it paid really to go on the right side. And Team Origin, who remained a little bit more in the middle because they had to control a little bit more the fleet, lost some very important meters.
It is.
So the goal that makes the whole game very interesting, to be honest.
Well, that's how close it is, and for once the camera isn't giving us any kind of illusion at all. We've got Origin still clinging on to the lead. It's shrunk down to 30 odd meters, and
look at that, huh?
Yeah, that's pretty. This is pretty tight racing. Okay, well, there's the finishing line, and here's Team Origin taking out race 6 with a sublime piece of yacht racing. They've really led, not quite from start to finish, but once they got in front, they weren't to be bettered after that. Terrific day's work from these guys.
Yeah, I think now they have. We can say that Team Origin did sail very strongly this race, because I tell you, it was not easy to make the good decisions, and they made all the good decisions to win this race. Yesterday they were close, and I think now they are really back in the game and taking a good advantage.
So this is how it looked after the 6 races. Now the Team Origin went into today with a 2-point lead. That was stretched out to 3 because Emirates Team New Zealand were keeping it so close. And this rivalry, Mike Sanderson, this is pretty powerful stuff. And it's quite ironic, really, that here we are talking to a New Zealander who's running the British team. Foot in both camps, if you like. But this is what you expected?
Well, I mean, it's better after 3 days than what we expected, to be honest. But we need to be under no illusion. We've had a couple of good days, and it can very easily go the other way. So we're certainly not getting ahead of ourselves. We've got a lot to go with the boat. We've got a lot to go with how we learn how to sail it. We've got a lot to go with our sails and bits and pieces. So I think, to be honest, the gap to Emirates Team New Zealand is a little bit bigger than what it looks like at the moment. But, we can beat them, and we've shown we can take races off them. And so, it's all really positive, to be honest. And, the only thing we know for sure is we're going to get better at it, and our learning curve is quite steep. So, on that side, it's all very positive.
Okay, the battle continues. The battle continued certainly in race 7, and this again was a complete duel the whole way, or most of the way around, for between Team New Zealand and Origin, and didn't quite pan out how Mike might have liked, but let's watch it.
A solid start, I think, from Team Origin. Audi A1 just a little back. Probably in the second rank a bit. They're going to have to tack off now on port tack. But really the best so far is Team Origin and Emirates Team New Zealand. Prada just recrossing the start line now, just ducking behind the committee boat now. breeze is probably 14, 15 knots, still very gusty. And what we have seen is we can see a squall line just down the way down off Lisbon, right down the river. And I think that is partly helping to pull the breeze right. And I think we'll see the right favoured again this race.
But they've got a fair jump on the fleet yet again, these two boats. As you can see, we're in just pretty much the middle of the first beat, heading up. Long way to go on this, and I love it when you see virtual telling you there's a metre between them, and absolutely they're just dead heating for a while. Well, what better competition could you possibly ask for? The question is, who will split and who will find the gains? Now, well, we've just clearly Origin couldn't live in Team New Zealand's air, returning the favour that happened earlier, and so they're really playing cat and mouse. They're swapping bad air, and we could be in for another major duel going on here.
So Emirates Team New Zealand will be round the windward mark and should probably get to just about the spreader mark before Origin reach the windward mark. I think Artemis are going to get there third.
Okay, here's our race leader now, Emirates Team New Zealand. They just managed to ease their way somehow around Team Origin, who led off the line. And this is Emirates Team New Zealand with a fairly reasonable lead at this stage of the proceedings, and following them round.
Team Origin doing turns, the penalty turns at the windward mark for Origin. That's going to be expensive. Did not see what the incident was, but they're still going round.
Well, this is going to be enormously expensive.
Artemis are on a port tack lift just now, and the breeze has gone a little bit left, and there's certainly more pressure out here on the left side. So Artemis advancing progressively against Emirates Team New Zealand. Well,
you've got some pretty sharp eyes there, Andy Robertson, because Virtual Eye is absolutely confirming that Artemis is our new leader, coming in from the left-hand side of the track. And Artemis, our race leader here, by 19 metres, 18 metres, 17 metres. It's coming down all the time with Emirates Team New Zealand. Now, when are we still on these? I'm just trying to see what tack they're on. Andy, give us your perspective at the moment. Okay, are we hearing Andy? Andy Robertson?
Sorry, Martin. What we were saying a few minutes ago was that Artemis were very definitely lifting offshore on the left, and now what's happening is they're moving across into the right-hand breeze and getting headed progressively as they get towards the shore. So that little advantage, or the advance that they made, was pretty temporary. And Emirates Team New Zealand looking increasingly strong as they get closer to the shore and into the favoured right-hand shift, which you should start to pick up soon.
Emirates Team New Zealand crossed the line to take out race 7 of the this Trofeo de Portugal. Dean Barker there again, absolutely not a scintilla of emotion, just job done. That is going to sit them nicely up at the top of the table. Ray Davis was telling me yesterday that they're a great bunch of guys and they just feel confident, and that confidence is showing. Behind them now, here comes Artemis. What a terrific race these guys have sailed. They took a bit of a flyer out on the left-hand side. It paid dividends. It looked like it was going to cost them, but Paul Kayard there just behind Torben Tonquist. He's called those shots right, and that's a really great second place for Artemis and Torben Tonquist, the owner-driver, at the helm there for this really powerful team. Well, Mike Sanderson, not the right boat crossing the line at that time. Tell us what happened in that incident, because for all many at the beginning, we were kind of blindsided by it happening slightly down the fleet, and suddenly you weren't there, and you'd been second or first the whole way up that beat. What went wrong?
Yeah, I mean, if you go back and another 5 minutes or something, we were pretty unlucky with the shift right at the end when we actually met Team New Zealand. So if we could have just been a few feet further forward, one of the early crosses. But here what happened is, right when we came to cross, Audi all for one, they got a lovely right-hander, and we, and we sort of faded into their breeze. And looking at that, maybe we were a little bit conservative doing our turns, but better at this stage of the regatta and this stage of the whole series to do 1-360, put yourself back in the pack. Not nice to do, but better than now to be standing outside the protest room waiting for the jury to decide our outcome.
Well, in fact, you lost, 7 points there, and if you'd gone to the protest room and had it thrown out, you would have been in even worse shape. So, really the lesser of two evils that you were taking that option.
Yeah,
there.
absolutely. The risk-reward, I mean, yes, we could have battled on and rolled the dice on how we went in the jury room, but no, better now to just do the turn and put our hand up and get on with the racing.
And really, it's a seventh, and we're saying it could have been worse. You don't really want to be outside those fives, though, do you? So that's not a...
No, it's definitely not ideal. But we had a win this morning, and so we're trying to stay in the top. 2, 3, 4, and so we'll take the credit of the win and offset that with the seventh, and we're happy. We're only 3 points behind.
Well, that's what it is, isn't it? Just 3 points behind, and of course the primary beneficiary of that, naturally, Emirates Team New Zealand, and they're sitting up at the top. And we've had a chat with Dean Barker, and he'd have enjoyed your discomfort up to a point. He's a bit of a gentleman. Let's see what he had to say.
Team Origin, a very strong group of guys. We know a lot of them very well. Ben was part of Emirates Team New Zealand in 2007, so know the guys very well, and it's always going to be interesting racing against Ben and his guys. They huge amount of talent there. They're a very strong team in the Louis Vuitton events, and they've got a brand new boat here, which is pretty competitive. So it's good racing. Well, it's been a case in the last couple of days where both teams have probably lifted their act a little bit from the first day, and it's going to be a tight battle all the way to the end. But there's certainly other teams that are still in with a chance. It's certainly a long way from being over. As coastal race, and then probably 2 more races on the last day, which will be just as tough. It's a hard race course, and one minute you think you're toast, and then the next minute you're looking good. So it's just being patient and taking the opportunities.
Being patient, taking the opportunities. That's going to be presumably your watchwords as well over the next 2 days, because it's all to fight for. Just 3 points in it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the guys who are winning races, and there's been lots of different winners, as Dean pointed out, being very patient. I mean, at some stage you look down and, as Dean said, you just think you're miles behind, and the next minute, the worst thing to do is to bite the bullet almost and take your loss there, and you may as well. It's been so shifty here as wait it out as long as you can in case it comes golden on your side.
Well, clearly you're getting something that's working. We're looking forward to seeing a bit more of that now. We've loved watching the TP52s in action, but we've also been watching here in Cascais race 5 of the GP42s.
Well, it's interesting, Martin. I mean, with this little bit to go, this is the first time I've seen Portocalero not line up for the right. They've made pretty conservative starts, not pushed it too hard, and now they're actually taking the pin end. Now, as you know, in the points, they're leading by quite a substantial margin. They've done that largely by being the first boat to the right. But look at Aris. Aris now ducking everybody, going over to the right themselves. So it's Aris and Portocalero have actually swapped sides off the starting line in this third race.
And they're looking pretty pressed up to me. This is a great breeze, and it's what we've come to expect from Cascais. This is, well, for me, it's my first trip here, but I've heard so much about it over the years, and it's just great to come here and see what you've been learning about all that time, what you've been hearing about. It is actually true. This is a fabulous breeze. It's solid but also tricky, and it's giving us a difficult sea state for the boats to have to thread their way through. But I would assume that they're absolutely reveling in these conditions. The change, according to Virtual Eye now, is that Madrid Kesa has taken advantage of that right-hand side, and they're now leading Puerto Calero. And Peninsula Petroleum are sitting in third spot, according to the electronics here. So
yes,
that's
indeed.
That's pretty interesting.
Yes, absolutely. There's a little bit of a left shift now, which is making Petroleum look better and better. In fact, I hope that from our position, we're just to windward of Petroleum. I hope we're not interfering with them. I'd like to see these guys get into the game. But you know, another factor, I don't know if you all saw that in your TP52 sailing, was there must be some influence possibly from the river, because there's a significant watercolor change as you get closer into shore. And it, you know, without a GPS and without being on board, it's a little hard to tell, but it makes me think possibly there's a little bit of possible ebb current or some advantage one side or the other from that different water, from the different water that we see. I can't see that line from out here now, but earlier in the day it was very pronounced, and it was up sort of 2/3 away up the course. We watched Iberdrola in the first race today do a phenomenal job of going from last to first just on the first run downwind. They were the first to jibe, and they worked the hell out of the boat. They really use a lot of kinetics. You know, Rule 42 has been suspended for this class.
Yeah,
actually,
well, are you seeing a bit of a problem on Iris Enschel?
To pump and rock and ooch.
Have a look at Iris. Have a look at Iris.
Yeah, they've been struggling today. They've had very poor spinnaker sets, to be honest. A couple of broaches, and I don't know. They need to really sort their crew work out.
That's not going to come out in a hurry, that one. They're going to have to drop it, I would have thought, to get that wine glass out. Is this a problem here with the kite? They're fishing here on, it would be Iris. What a mess that one is. Yes, this is, Iris is trawling their kite. It's an absolute mess. They're in deep strife here, and that's their race gone, really, isn't it?
These newer boats, these newer B and C boats, both Madrid Kesa and Puerto Calero, are very fast in these easy downwind conditions. The hulls are just more powerful, they're more stable. You know, they do have a definite advantage over the 2008 generation boat that Iberdrola has.
Well, Paolo Chan's making the most of it. The boat's being beautifully sailed at the moment, and I'm guessing not that far from the finish line, and he's doing a neat job of holding out the opposition. Though probably as soon as I say that, everything will change and they'll all close up. But 135 meters closing in on the line. How far away from the finish?
Martin, we're just about 150 meters, not very far at all. The breeze is actually back just down at this end, but I don't think it's going to change anything in the way that they're coming in.
Okay, and the looking at Iberdrola on the left and Puerto Calero on the right. Who are you going to pick to sneak through there?
Well, as Nacho said earlier, every time you jibe, you lose a little bit. But the team that jibes the best out here is definitely Iberdrola. Those guys, we're watching them jibe right now. They jibe the spinnaker first, do a very slow turn. The main slides across easily, and it's a really very smooth maneuver. They definitely have their technique down in jibing, much better than any of the other teams out here.
Okay, well that looked like the one and in for Madrid, and I'm taking it that they're going to be crossing the line very shortly.
And let's see the crossing between Iberdrola.
The battle is going to be for the second place now. Paolo Chan, and the handshakes go out, and Paolo Chan and his crew on board Kesa Madrid Kesa, they take race 5 of the GP42 series, and let's get out to see who's going to sneak across the lines. Looking like Puerto Calero has got second place. Iberdrola chasing all the way, but a little too late, a little too little, a little too late. And Just 6 seconds, the margin there after almost an hour of racing. What does that tell you about how tight this yacht racing is in these fantastic conditions? Well, that is as tight as you can get, really, isn't it? And I presume that you're all loving this.
Oh yeah, I mean it's it's a beautiful place to go sailing. We've had great breeze. I mean, it has been incredibly shifty and puffy though, and that's great for the entertainment, but it's pretty stressful for the teams, and I think it'll be interesting to see how, as the season goes on, a lot of teams are getting an opportunity at the lead who aren't getting off the line nicely, and historically that hasn't worked very well in the Audi Medcup. So it's very entertaining, but it's quite different racing. Okay, well,
talking about different racing, we've got a coastal race tomorrow, and that throws up a whole bunch of new challengers. 1.5 points that racing is going to count, so we wish you well with that tomorrow. Thanks very much for coming in and giving us your time. It's been a pleasure. And we look forward to watching Team Origin punching so far way above their weight again with a boat right out of the box. See you tomorrow.